if he goes out with a bang in his last 10 movies, what a filmography, what a like collection of movies that he has to just be like, this is me, like one of the greatest directors of all time.
He can't blame the script because he wrote the damn thing. He can't blame the company because he's running the damn company. You know what I mean? Like, this is all James Gunn. So
not only not directing it, he wants no part of DC at all in any aspect. Writing, directing, acting.
Can you blame him though?
He's like, see you later. I want no part of it. Just keep me out of it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Personified Fandom, episode 14. I am Josh Meany, and joined with me today, some people call him the sexiest man alive, but we just call him Mike. Mr. Mike Daggs. How you doing?
What's going on? No one's ever said that, but until tonight. But I'll take it. Woo! What's going on, man?
Doing good. And also joined with us, a liquor bottle never stood a chance. Mr. Ginty, Mr. Toke. How you doing, man?
Doing fucking great, brother. How you been this week?
Doing pretty good. And we got a lot of news to talk about. A lot of stuff came out. Stuff was literally coming out like right after we recorded, which was kind of funny. But Mike, you want to kick us off with our first topic?
Yeah, we'll get right into it. Beetlejuice 2, almost screwed that up, is in the works with Jenna Ortega, and she is being rumored to be the star, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like, now, of course she's going to be the star because that's like, who would technically be the star of the first one?
Winona Ryder.
I would say
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Winona Ryder.
I haven't seen that movie
Michael
in
Keaton.
so damn long.
Well, I guess you would say Michael Keaton. I'm pretty sure he got top billing.
Yeah.
And then Winona Ryder right under.
Yeah, okay. So, but with her being, like, you know, just like the Oscars last night, she's everything everywhere all at once. Right now in Hollywood's eye. I will say that I'm not a big Beetlejuice fan. That's why I just had to ask that question. Okay. I never really got into it that much. I do love the song at the dinner table. Like, that's one of that's something that sticks in my head for all time.
Of course.
But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I never really saw the appeal of it. I was always kind of grossed out by it when I was a kid. So this doesn't like spark that like nostalgia, oh my god thing for me. And honestly, Jenna Ortega doesn't really do it for me either. So all around, this is just kind of like this exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I did hear that. I did read in a few different places. I'm not sure where. I don't remember where, but I heard that all of the original cast were coming back. I'm sure all but Alec Baldwin, because I'm sure nobody really cares to see him right now in anything.
Yeah, he's going through a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. But I mean, Jenna Ortega, I honestly have never seen her in anything. I haven't seen Wednesday.
You didn't watch Wednesday?
I have not seen Wednesday. I do want to watch it. The wife was like, "Nah, I have no interest." And I'm like, "Well, looks like I'll have to find time to watch it myself." So, whatever, I'll do that. Obviously, I mean, she's blown up in the past 2-3 years. I guess actually no. I lied. I guess I have seen her in one thing. I don't think she really had any credit, but she was the vice president's daughter in Iron Man 3.
No
That's
way.
About it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you,
Iron Man.
I've seen it then too.
That's crazy. I did not know that. Fun fact.
She was listed as vice president's daughter.
Wow. Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, seeing, you know, the way she looks in Wednesday and this and that, and then going back to the original Beetlejuice movie, I can 100% see her playing the role of Lydia's daughter. I mean, she has that look, and I think she'll do a great job.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure she will.
I'm excited to see Michael Keaton come back in anything, so whatever.
Yeah, especially seeing him come back to play Beetlejuice. I mean, we're going to have him come back and play Batman and Beetlejuice. Like, what year is this? What is happening right now?
Everything old is new again.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see Beetlejuice again. I think Beetlejuice should have had a sequel a very long time ago. It sucks it's one of those movies that's not getting a sequel for so long, but also there's just so much you can do. There's so many different directions you could go with a sequel, especially with Tim Burton at the helm. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I've seen Jenna Ortega in Scream, and I saw the first 2 episodes of Wednesday. She's great in Wednesday. She was very good in Scream. She's definitely a very talked about actress right now, definitely on the come up. Everything about this gets me excited. I love Beetlejuice, excited for a sequel. Jenna Ortega, Michael Keaton coming back. I mean, everything about this sounds good. You have Tim Burton doing it. But
when was the last thing that Tim Burton did? Because I feel like it's been a while.
He did
since
Wednesday.
He's done anything, really. Oh, that's right. He did do that.
He did Wednesday, and before that, what was it, like Alice in Wonderland? And those movies were...
Yeah,
Yikes.
that's where my brain is, because I didn't watch Wednesday. That's where my brain was on like what he's done since then. So yeah,
that's Charlie in the Chocolate Factory one, or Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, or
I like
those
that movie.
Years ago,
dude. It was his take on it was pretty fucking awesome.
It's
I'll give
weird,
him that.
but I liked it.
Yeah, I think it was one of those I watched it once and was like, nah, maybe it's worth a revisit, but.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I might not like it if I revisit it. Right now, it has a happy place in my mind, but if I go back to it now, I might be like,
leave it there forever. Yeah. Talking about things that have not been made recently that we need to revisit, possibly. Not one of my best segues, but Quentin Tarantino has finished writing his 10th and final movie, and they're looking to. So that was my thought first, but he's looking to start filming on it at the end of this year.
Yeah,
he had said that he wanted to either come out with 10 movies or retire by the time he was 60. He turns 60 next month, and this would be his 10th movie. So he looks like he's kind of wrapping it up. I initially had thought like, there's no way he's not going to make another movie. Like,
I mean,
somebody was going to ask him for, to just throw money at him. But I don't think that that's the case. I mean, he's held pretty strong. He had some good points when he was talking in the interview, the article that Josh was so graciously willing to link to us so we know what the hell we're talking about. He basically was saying, like, one bad movie can ruin the previous 3. And he hates when directors get older and try to stay good with the times, and it just doesn't look good half the time, and their ideas change and get kind of like worse. They just don't age well directing into your later twilight years of life, if you'll have it. So
yeah,
I think that he might be serious about this being his last movie. He said he wants to get into some other ventures and maybe do some Broadway and direct some maybe limited series stuff. And I mean, I am a proponent for quality over quantity, forever. So if he goes out with a bang in his last 10 movies, what a filmography, what a like collection of movies that he has to just be like, this is me, like one of the greatest directors of all time.
Absolutely, hands down.
Yep.
Yeah, he definitely has the filmography to back that up. He has so many classics, and there's not a single Tarantino film that I've seen that I didn't like. There's ones that I think are good and fine, but I never saw a Tarantino movie. It's like, I don't like that. I won't watch that again. He's just one of those directors.
Yeah, I think his most recent was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that movie. Actually, just watched that not long ago.
That probably goes under the radar, I think. I feel like
no one talks about that movie.
I still haven't seen it. I feel
I
should definitely check it out.
I need to watch it.
It definitely gets I mean, just like every Tarantino movie, you fall into this thing of like, all right, where are we going? And then your brain goes, it's a Tarantino movie. Like, don't stop watching, because anything could happen at any moment.
Yeah.
And the last like 10 minutes of that movie is fucking bananas.
Insane.
I remember watching it being like, wow, I'm surprised that like nothing's happened. And I know like the story that this is based on, like, isn't supposed to happen, and then it all happens.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So I won't spoil it, but it's a very good watch. You should go.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's on my list. It's just
what
Tarantino.
Everybody's list is.
We watch way too many. I mean, obviously just to keep up with this. It's like, man, I gotta watch. I still have this stuff that I wanted to watch, and nope, I need to do this because I gotta refresh my memory on this shit. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
So, Josh, you want to tell us more about like the story? Like, what did you read?
So
What
all
story
that's
basically?
being put out for right now about the story is that it takes place in 1970s Los Angeles, and it's going to be a female lead. But that's really all. And then the title is Movie Critic, which I'm interested right off the bat. I mean, it almost sounds like it's going to be like the movie The Comedian, or something. Like it could go that type of route with a title called The Movie Critic. It could be like a character study almost, and I'd like to see something like that from him. But I mean, anything he does, anything he says he's going to do, I'm always going to check it out because he's my second favorite director of all time. His movies in his filmography are in my to probably top 20, like multiple movies from him. Yeah, it's really exciting. I also like that he's gonna stop at 10, and I hope he does completely stop at 10 because, like you were saying, like what a way to just what a career. You do these 10 films that are almost every single one is legendary in its own right, and you stop at 10. You're on the Mount Rushmore,
Exactly. Like, and people are always gonna want more, and I'm sure that once he says he's done, a movie studio will come back and be like, go do this. But I don't know if I think that he's very blatant with what he does, so it's not even like he's been rushed to make this one.
No.
I mean, people just know, okay, if he makes one, he makes one. If not, we want him to make one, obviously, but we don't want to, he's not gonna. He's somebody who just doesn't feel like he's gonna be budged into a corner. And what a line. Like, so I guess this week coming up, I don't actually know when that article was written or when it was posted, but they said this week they're going to be shopping it around to studios because it's not attached to a studio yet. And I mean, imagine the line of actors that are just like calling their agents, like, get me in that fucking movie.
This film. He's one of those directors, like you're saying, he's never rushed. He does everything on his own time. He gets in his own head. He creates the script, comes up with this story, and when he's ready, then he's like, okay, who wants to pay for this? And he's in a small group of directors who really do that. Martin Scorsese does that. Christopher Nolan. None of those directors are pressured. They're like, when I come up with a brilliant idea, I'm going to do it, and you pick who's going to pay.
And then there's James Cameron who just goes, fuck you, I'm going to take 15 years to make a movie. And then there's going to be 6 of them. And they're all
not only are you going to pay for it, you're going to give me all the money.
And it's going to make $1 billion because there's just this cycle of that talks about, like, James Cameron's going to make a movie that a billion people, billions of dollars. And everyone's like, I guess I have to go watch this movie because it has to make $1 billion. Yeah. It's like, yes.
Absolutely.
It's a cyclical cycle that won't end. It's crazy.
Yeah, so they're saying that, so obviously the script is done. He is, and the sources are saying that he is prepping to start directing this fall.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
so probably
it is rumored that it's a female, and they believe that it's going to be focusing on Pauline Kael.
Yeah.
Who was one of the most influential movie critics of all time.
Yeah.
And she died in 2001. Yeah, she was big in the 70s.
Okay.
Now, I was trying to think because there was a film critic that got murdered, but I don't think that was her. I mean, it obviously wasn't because that would have been a side note to it too. But maybe I'm just thinking of something else.
No, I mean, you could be onto something. Maybe that is something that he's gonna do, and we just because there's really not much information. It seems like he's keeping it for the most part pretty under wraps. Did it say he finished the script? Like he was done with the script?
Yeah. So basically, where is it? Was it? So the movie critic is the name of the script that Tarantino wrote and that he wrote. So I'm assuming it's done, and is prepping to direct this fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. That'll be great once it's fully announced with a studio and who's going to be in it and who's it starring. You think Uma Thurman's going to come back and be the lead?
I'd love that. That's very interesting. Is like who's going to do that female lead because he goes for the top actors and actresses. So it's really exciting to think like who's he gonna have star in this. I can't wait to find out the cast. It's always a great cast.
Yeah, it's always gonna be brilliant. Yeah, speaking of brilliant, we had the season finale of The Last of Us was last week. We did not. No, that was this week. Sorry, my timeline's all screwed up. That was this just recently, which is it's kind of weird because the show 8 episodes didn't seem like a lot for the amount of hype. 9 episodes, sorry, didn't feel like a lot for the hype that the show got. Like it feels like they sort of rushed it almost. Like there wasn't too. I mean, I personally love that. I love what they did. I love the fact that it was just got in, told it, and get out. It doesn't need to be this giant epic, setting up for 6 more seasons of this and that. I'm so into that, especially like where this is a sidebar, like we always do, especially where there's like so many IPs and interesting things you can do out there that doesn't need to be a new, cinematic universe. Just keep it to like a couple seasons of a show, let that experience breathe, and then leave it alone. I hate when things need to be forced. Yeah. So this show came, the first season tracked the first game. They're rumored to be not immediately jumping into, just doing the second season, being focused on the second show. A lot of speculation that there could be some stuff filled in between the 2 games, because if you didn't know, there's, the time jump in between the 2 games that they could go back and kind of do. But, yeah, Eric, Toke, what was your thoughts on this season as a whole?
I obviously not knowing anything about it, not playing the game, not knowing about the game, I absolutely fucking loved it. It got me hook, line, and sinker, right straight from the trailers and previews of the show. And from episode 1, I was just on the edge of my seat every fucking episode and falling absolutely in love with these characters. Just seeing Joel evolve from being a father to this complete and utter cold badass who just doesn't give a shit and will do anything to get what he needs, to coming back to this protective father figure in the last 2 episodes, and man, did it just, oh man, this episode, man, just badass. I loved it. That hospital scene, Jesus Christ, man, Jesus Christ. Yeah. He went fucking God mode.
Yeah. So they stayed pretty close to like the ending of the game. Like it was like pretty damn close. What was there any like? How do you think that stacked up for you, Josh? Coming from someone who played the game and loved the game and knew what was coming. Was it like a surprise or?
Look, this was my least favorite episode of the season.
Really?
I didn't hate it. It was fine, but I felt like the last episode was rushed, short, and the hospital scene, it's done so much better in the game, and I feel like that didn't happen a lot in the show, where I was like, what you did live action here was not even close to what you did in the game. I didn't get that feeling really with anything. I'm like, either you came pretty close, you nailed it, or you added on to it. But I feel like the ending of this, I'm like, it wasn't as good. Like, Joel didn't struggle at all getting through that hospital. He was like the Terminator when the Terminator shows up to the police station in the first movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, no damage. He's just running through. You got this music playing, and it's almost soothing. He's just kind of going through, taking people out because he's a badass. But in the game, I mean, it's a struggle. You're talking about the last mission of the game. He's taking hits. He's having a hard time getting to Ellie, and that's why it makes it means more when he finally gets to Ellie. You know, it's like, I just went through all of that, but he didn't in this. He just, I went through them, took them all out, and now, you know what I mean? And I didn't like that.
Okay.
It was definitely a creative choice. Like, I felt that too. Like, I was almost kind of taken away from it. Like, I was just like, oh, he's just fucking killing everybody. That's okay. Like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked the decision they went to, like, just kind of show he dropped into that emotionless, like,
yeah,
like it's a weird kind of roller coaster way they ended it, like where it came from him being so comfortable, with her and being, he starting to let loose and become jovial and joking around and, wanted to hear some of her jokes when they're walking through the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then just like to waking up and then just being like, oh, okay, I'm going back to the cold-hearted assassin. And that's like I wonder if they like expand on that part of it. Cause like you could tell, like, even from what she went through, from what Ellie went through in the episode before, she was all messed up from it. Yes. And then now, afterwards, not really, obviously not trusting him, much like in the game where she asks him, like, everything you tell me is true. And he's, she's like, no, you just lied to me.
Yeah.
So
that was done very well, too. I do want to say that.
Yeah.
Those emotional beats, like, of that moment when he had, like, tell me the truth. And then also, even when Marlene tells him, like, we really think we can have a cure, that whole conversation. And when it clicks in Joel's head, like, I need to see her, like, all that was great. The only problem I really have is how he went through it and got to Ellie. But I think everything around that was great. The scene with the giraffe, and like you said, where he's finally. It seems like Ellie is more like distant, and now he's the one who's trying to get close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was all done brilliantly.
Yeah, I wonder if they, because they started. I'll just talk 1 second there. I feel like I wonder if they shot it. I mean, I know the way they would make shows now, like for everything, if they shot it with that like struggling, like struggle busing, trying to go through and kill everybody, and like really having a hard time, maybe getting like shot once or something like that.
Maybe
I wonder if they did it that way and then didn't like because again, like you said, he's just very systematic, John Wick-esque, like the way he went through that. Those like just like turning the video game down to story mode and just going like quick time action where it's like dot 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 dot, like just taking everybody out.
Without
and like
sweat.
I wonder if they just went through and like creatively, narratively, they wanted to do it that way. Like I'm thinking that
that's very possible. That's very possible.
Yeah. But and like you were saying,
they didn't have a I was gonna say they didn't have a after the episode, did they? I didn't see a like one talking about.
I think they did.
Post.
They did.
Oh, yeah,
I know
because I'll let Ginty talk. I feel like I keep.
Yeah, sorry.
Ginty, go ahead.
So I, like we were saying before, like you felt because the way it was in the game and this and that, and how you didn't like the fact that it seemed very emotionless and it was just like boom boom like that. For me, not knowing the game, I actually felt the complete opposite. I actually felt it was more because if you prior to getting to the hospital, like where he literally opens up to her and finally tells her the scar, the guy who missed was me, and all of this, and she's like, well, all time heals everything, right? No, it wasn't time. And basically, he just told her, no, it was you. So he just basically told, like,
without saying it, which was brilliant.
And she knows it, and she feels the same way at this point. Like, yes, I love you. You are my father. And I think that, like, for me, going into this part of the hospital where it just clicked, it's like, no, now it's not emotionless and just I'm boom going. No, now this is pure rage and love driving him to protect his daughter. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. Everything else is blacked out. I am tunnel vision. This is my goal, and this is nothing is going to stop me until I get to my goal. And that's what I looked at it as, and that's why it seems so beautiful to me in that aspect.
Yeah. I think this is one of those situations where playing the game was actually my downfall. Like, it sort of felt like that kind of in other episodes where I was like, oh, that really would have been cool to not play the game and not know this was going to happen. But this is really where it actually became a problem, because I could totally see me seeing that scene of him going through to get Ellie and not playing the game and love it. You know what I mean? I could totally like, I think I would. But again, this is kind of one of those situations where playing the game was actually my downfall. I do want to bring up another part was that I loved and didn't like was Ellie's mom. Now, we never see Ellie's mom in the game. I loved that they picked, I think Ashley Johnson, who voices Ellie, which was crazy because I didn't know she was in that episode. I don't even know what she looks like. But as soon as she started speaking, I looked at my wife and I'm like, babe, that's Ellie. Like, I can hear It's not like Troy Baker when he plays Joel and he has all these different voices. Like, no, when she spoke, I was like, that is Ellie. That has to be the voice actor for Ellie. And I thought it was almost poetic, like, she gives birth to Ellie, almost like passing the torch. All that's beautiful, but here's the thing. There's no explanation for why Ellie is immune in the game, and I like that. And they added something, which is the only time they did this, where they tried to add on to the game where I didn't like it. And it's not that I think it's just stupid. I just would rather not know. I think there's something more interesting with why is Ellie this anomaly? Why is she, like, immune?
It almost lessens it to, like, I don't know, maybe philosophically, if you think, like, if she's just immune, then maybe there are, like, more people that are immune. But then when you give it that, like, context of, like, her blood mixed with the cordyceps, like, at a certain point, it gave her just enough to be able to fight it, but not enough to turn. So
what it is the cordyceps is confused and thinks that what's in Ellie is already cordyceps, so it doesn't do anything, which is
so
it depends how you look at it.
You're basically just saying, like, no one can really ever have immunity because you'd have to, like, has to be given to you when you're in the womb or something. It just doesn't.
It's almost like now we'll do anything clearly to find a cure. Well, why don't we just get a bunch of pregnant women, infect them, and then, you know what I mean? Like, it almost gives you another source to try to figure out a cure. And I like the idea that you don't know why Ellie's immune, and it adds more to the fact that Joel killed everybody and stopped them from making the cure, and now Ellie has to live with this, you know? But now you're adding, like, oh, well, there is a possibility that there could be another cure out there, and it kind of lessens the effect of all that.
To bring this to full circle, because we haven't brought this up in a while, but it's the Star Wars thing. It's the Anakin being made by midichlorians or something, or basically Star Wars Jesus.
Yes.
And you're like, that's stupid. Just don't know who the dad is. Why does this have to be some immaculate? Why does it have to be some immaculate reception, like Inception shit? What the? Just say you don't know who the dad is. It's so much better than some dumb explanation. Like
she didn't want to be. She just didn't. She didn't want to be perceived as a whore. Let it be. Let it be.
It's crazy.
She was a good mother, but she got around.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different. We're gonna go. They were
poor. They were poor. They were slaves. There's nothing she could do. She raised her son right until she gave him to the Jedi.
For not freeing her too. Why would you? Let's just rip this kid away from his mom. I'm sure that'll not make any issues. Because there can't be
attachments, you know. And then he forms the biggest attachment that a Jedi's ever had. Anyway,
it's just crazy. But going forward, I'm excited. I think that, like, some of the things I read were saying that, you know, like I said, the time jump thing that gives him a little bit more time with Pedro Pascal, because he got, as much as people are into the series, it's definitely something where, and I was having this conversation with a coworker, where if you take him, you know, I don't want to spoil anything for the second one, but certain characters might not be around, and if you take him out of the equation right away, it kind of lessens what the, like, it kind of cripples you, you know, like to put the next season all on her would be, I think, unfair a little bit.
There's definitely a lot in between Game 1 and Game 2, that you could totally work with, and I think would be more interesting because I didn't play anything in between 1 and 2, you know what I mean?
And nobody, exactly.
I think I'll have
nobody
a little
has,
more,
so it's
that
brand new stories to
And you're also talking about adapting one of the most controversial stories in video game history. Like, when that game, Last of Us 2, came out, the controversy was insane. So now you're going to adapt it live action. You're going to have the same controversy, even from people who didn't play the game, because you're giving them that same thing. So that's really touchy, and I wonder how they're going to do that.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's funny because like I was also talking about the fact that it seems like now I didn't play either game, but I kind of have this like I know kind of how it is in the zeitgeist of everything, and it seems like it's really hot or cold. Like people either love it or they hate it. There's nobody really that likes that story. That's just like, yeah, it was okay. It's either like, no, I really like what they did, or no, I hate what they did. So it's definitely one of those things.
Yeah.
Super divisive. So yeah, I like the idea of new stuff that nobody knows, so we can all experience the stuff for the very first time. Like,
yeah, that'll be fun.
Good or bad, and I think that they will, only because, like you said, where it goes in the second game, you're kind of, if you're going to do season 2 is following just the second game, then you're kind of hamstringing yourself, and I think that, again, you might turn some people off to the show because they know what's coming, and if they don't like it, then they just might be like, I'm not going to watch it because I know what happens and I don't like it.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
I think that they will go with like let's fill in some in between time, and then they said they're open to making more seasons. So
yeah.
Maybe eventually get to that point or something. And eventually getting there is what we will have, because James Gunn is going to direct Superman Legacy, coming out in 2025. He announced it on his Instagram, I believe.
Somewhere. Twitter,
somewhere, one of the
somewhere,
socials.
Yeah.
And he said, what was the date? I think it was his son's birthday or something, or dad's birthday or something.
His dad's birthday.
Okay.
His brother said that it was his dad's birthday. Yeah.
And I mean, you not knowing that, come on, you knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's funny how James Gunn's kind of got this like Thanos approach to it, like puts the gauntlet on, like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. As soon as we found out he was writing it, we actually talked about this before, but I was like, is he really going to not direct the script that he wrote? I know he's being kind of nonchalant about it, but I feel like deep down a lot of people really did know that he was going to direct it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like, now it's his baby. Why would he walk away from it like that? Like, let somebody else. And again, I mean, this is one of those things, you could have a couple good movies and go, okay, that's fine. But if you screw up Superman again, it's like, well, I shouldn't say again, because I liked personally the Superman movies a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But if you screw that up, it's like, that could be the nail in the coffin for DC.
And
like,
the levels of screwing it up, like, this is one of the most boldest things anyone in the film industry has done. He's directing it, right? So he can't blame the script because he wrote the damn thing. He can't blame the company because he's running the damn company. You know what I mean? Like, this is all James Gunn. So if this sucks, there's no excuse. It's like, no, you fucked it up. You really
is rolling the dice.
All I can say is, do not.
He's the dealer, and he's everybody on
Superman.
the craps table.
He's
literally the dealer. He's
everybody
throwing the dice. Yeah. He's everyone standing around it. He's the dice themselves. Like,
yeah, but then that also goes to show somebody's gonna win. You know what I mean? So like, it can't fail on all levels. If it sucks as a movie, maybe it's kind of a good script. You know what I mean? Or maybe they were going in the right direction, but the movie sucked.
Yeah. Breaking news: James Gunn's actually starring as Superman in the movie too.
Perfect.
So he is
perfect. I just pictured it with the white spiky hair, like there's Superman.
No. Sorry, that was the incorrect statement. He's actually playing Jor-El. Because this is on young Superman, young Clark Kent.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna de-age himself. That's why it's taking so long to come out.
Yeah, probably.
It's a de-aging thing.
Probably. Yeah, James Gunn, it's exciting. I feel like he hasn't done wrong, really, in his movies. I don't know. I don't think he'll mess it up. I don't. And I'm very interested to see his flavor on Superman. I don't think he'll be over-the-top comedy, because I think he knows that would be the wrong choice, you know? I feel like he's smart enough to know he can't go full gun on it. Yeah, definitely excited, and it's the movie that's going to kick off this new spree of DC, and yeah, can't wait to see it.
Better be good. It fucking better be good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we got a while to wait, so there's no use in getting excited for it yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to hear the
Lord
actor.
knows-
Who are they casting? You know,
that'll be interesting.
That's a big
That
factor.
should be. I'd imagine that's coming soon, right? I mean, they got
Yeah, he
time for
probably already casted him. He wrote the movie. Now he's announcing
he
he's
wrote
directed.
it-
They probably got him.
If he wrote it, he probably has somebody in mind, and because usually that's how it works. But
Yeah, it's supposed to release July 11th, 2025.
2025.
that's
I
the
think
re-
that's the same.
that's the release
same year as
date.
the Avengers movie too.
so they'll be finishing it about a year and a half from now. So they're going to be starting to. I mean, I don't know. Production times usually 6 months after they finish filming that they edit it and stuff. So
Yeah.
start filming in about a year and a half. Yeah, they've got to get the guy pretty soon because he's also should be probably appearing in some other stuff too, right? I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I guess we'll see.
I don't know.
We got Flash coming
Really-
real soon. Maybe that'll give us some sort of indicator.
Yeah. I can tell you who's not excited at all for the DC universe is Ben Affleck.
Nope.
Because he has zero interest in directing for DC,
Yeah.
which is, I would say, not surprising. I would want to probably wash my hands with it too, and just be done.
He said it drove him to drink. Like, that's in the article.
Yeah.
Like, he would just go back to his hotel in London and drink because he said he was in, like, one of the worst situations in, like, the film industry, in an industry where there's a lot of bad situations, basically.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's
Justice
crazy
League.
to say.
Justice League ruined his taste for the movies. He's like, I want no part of DC anymore.
Yeah.
But he
he's
also
done.
did go in to say that his best role as Batman was in The Flash.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
know
he said he
what? I
finally
feel like he
felt
has
lucky.
to say that. I feel like as soon as I read that, I was like, yeah, you're going to say that because you can't really down the movie that's about to come out with you in it. So, of course, he's going to say that. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's going to top his Batman and Batman versus Superman. I just don't. I think that's the best he could do and will do. That was it. His Batman in that movie, I think, was phenomenal. I can't see his Batman in the Flash movie being better than that. I can't. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, and hopefully, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. He even said he's not in the movie much. He said that and I mean, from the way the trailers make it look, he's not in it much. So I can't imagine that.
I guess it's
That's
also
just so weird.
It's also showing that apparently he had a script for Batman that he wrote.
Him and Chris Terrio.
It was scrapped. Basically, I guess, it's showing that it was showing script focus on Arkham Asylum and would have shown the darker side of Batman through his own split psyche.
Yep, and was supposed to have Deathstroke in it.
Yeah.
I'm so upset that we didn't get that movie. I mean, Ben Affleck is a phenomenal director. He's got an eye for direct. He's a great actor, great director. You know, Chris Terrio, who he's worked with before, I believe he worked with him on Argo, I believe, which I loved
Argo a lot.
He did
really
Gone Baby Gone, I think is the name of it.
Gone Baby Gone, yeah.
And his brother was in that too. And of course he did
Casey
The Town,
Affleck,
which is one of my favorite movies, The Town. I love
So
The Town.
good.
It's so good. So to see him direct a Batman movie, it's really upsetting to hear that he's not interested in directing anything in DC. Like, he's just really washed his hands with this whole studio, and I think that's really disappointing because he's such a great director.
Not only direct anything, he wants no part of DC at all in any aspect. Writing, directing, acting.
Can you blame him though?
He's so done.
He's like, see you later. I want no part of it. Just keep me out of it.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all though. They played, and especially if it caused him that much like emotional stress to actually become Bruce Wayne for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, I wouldn't want to go back to that, open that can of worms and stuff. So, yeah, again, it's unfortunate, but I mean, you saw the result of when the studio doesn't agree with the directors and the direction that they're going and they don't have a clear path. It just gets ruined. You ruin some of the biggest IPs in the world, stuff that should be no-brainers to make. But
absolutely. And you got someone like Zack Snyder who like talked him into coming in and playing Batman, because Ben Affleck was like, I'm not Batman, I'm not that guy, and Zack Snyder's like, no, this is like a older, like kind of defeated, more brutal Batman, and you know, and then you just take Zack Snyder out of the picture, and it's kind of like, well, he's the one who talked me into this. Now, what do you guys want to do with Batman? And they show him what they want to do with Batman, and he's like, I'm fucked. I'm fucked.
That is the worst. That'd be like your friend asking you to move in to his house, and then your friend moves to like Mexico, and you're like, well, whoa.
But not only after that, but after you already did it, Zack Snyder completed it, and then you booted him and you fucking reshot everything.
Yeah.
And made him do it all over again.
You brought
with
a
jackass. What a jackass. Who ruined the fucking movie.
Yeah. That man gets too much credit for the first Avengers. Way too much credit.
Ah, damn it.
So, somewhat moving on, I guess, we can go into stuff that hasn't worked in the DC to things that have been talked about trying to be worked for a long time that I don't ever see really working. Confusing segue, but I'm talking about 50 Cent producing a Vice City like show, like a Grand Theft Auto Vice City adaptation for Paramount Plus. That's not Scarface, because that's basically the premise of Vice City. So I don't know really what's going on there. To pick it all, like
this, they're saying based on dishonorably discharged military men.
Yeah, it's a completely different story. I think it's just based in Vice City. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I don't know. I don't know what to think of this, because it's funny. I don't know what to think of this. Like, I didn't send it in the group chat and say, hey guys, you want to talk about this? It's interesting to try to do a Grand Theft Auto adaptation, but I feel like doing a Grand Theft Auto adaptation that has nothing really to do with the games is what makes it a Grand Theft Auto adaptation, just because you're in Vice City. I don't feel like that's enough to get anyone who's a fan of the game really excited. You know, I want to see Vice City. You know?
Yeah, go watch Scarface. So
that's true. That's very true.
I think it's just I just think throwing 50 Cent in there and having his production company being a part of it is to.
Apparently, he makes hits.
He does, but I think that's the reason why they maybe have attached themselves to him, because he can bring in he'll bring in the viewers.
So they've been trying to make. I mean, Grand Theft Auto is the most profitable property ever. It's
massive.
It's the most profitable. Grand Theft Auto Online has generated. They print money. They've generated more money than. That game came out in 2013. Mm-hmm. It was in the top 50 of games purchased last month. Still, it's insane. It didn't leave the top 10 until like 2 years ago. It's mind-boggling. Everybody owns it. Everybody owns that game.
And they keep remastering it, too. They make a new console. They're like, oh, no, we're going to make a remaster for that console.
Yeah, we're coming out with another one. It is the most profitable. I mean, I'm surprised at the fact that GTA 6 keeps getting leaks, because usually that was like the most airtight thing ever. And, I mean, that's probably why it's getting leaked now, because people are immediately trying to leak it. But a Grand Theft Auto movie and TV shows have been in talks ever since like the 3D version came out, 20 years ago. The problem that it's always had is what Grand Theft Auto means to me isn't what it means to you. It isn't what it means to somebody else. I mean, you always hear the articles of like, oh, Grand Theft Auto is that game where you can go shoot cops and beat up hookers and kill EMT guys when they come out to try and save you. You can shoot them and steal the ambulance and run people over. And you're like, yeah, I mean, you can also get in a taxi and do taxi cab missions. Yeah. Or I can go and, I can go steal cars that, from rich people and sell them for money, or I can upgrade my house or I can fly a plane, or I can fly a plane into a building, or I can go jet skiing, or I can like.
Yeah, it was that next level of immersion. They were the first to really do that.
There's like chaos through the story modes and stuff, but usually most of the people just run around causing chaos themselves. Or there is like, you look on, there's a giant community of people that like play cops and robbers on the servers, or like, so it's making a movie of it. It's like there's a storyline. That's the movie. You can't. How are you gonna make like? You could make any movie a Grand Theft Auto movie. You just slap a title on it and make it an action movie. That's it.
Really.
So it's weird. Like it's weird.
I think they're actually making it a series.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be a series.
Yeah. Vice City show.
Just live action adaptation of it. It just, there's so many possibilities for it to completely go wrong and tank. So many. Like, there's a very small little smidge that you gotta hit right on the target for it to be good, I feel like, if that makes sense. It's gonna be very hard to do, I think. For it to not just be this random action movie, like Mike said. Like, it's just what separates it from the other wild action movies that we get, honestly. What separates it from Fast and the Furious?
Like, you saw, exactly. Like, you saw, The Last of Us, very compelling story, very narrative driven, very linear. It's not an open world game. You adapted it. It's a great show because it's a great show because it's a great story. That's what makes a good video game thing into like a decent TV show or movie or something. Where, I mean, again, Grand Theft Auto is like, that has a story mode. So if you wanted to adapt, let's say like San Andreas, everybody loves that story, even though it's basically Boys in the Hood. It's very based off of like actual movies that already exist. But you could still adapt that and make it that way. Like if you wanted to make Vice City, which is also one of the better narrative stories, you could do that. But
if you had to pick one story from the Grand Theft Auto games for them to adapt live action, which one would it be?
Man. So let's list them so we can think here. There's 3.
I don't remember
Vice
3.
City.
I remember Vice City.
Okay. San Andreas.
San Andreas.
4
and 5.
There's like, if you really want to call
Liberty
it the
City.
Ballad of Gay Tony,
Ballad of Gay
Tony, and the Lost and the Damned. Lost and the Damned.
That's true.
And then 5. I don't know. I would have to say 3 could be interesting. I really did like 3, but 3 was kind of that was you were working for the mafia, and then you were trying to get back at your old crew that screwed you over. So that one's a little too, like, they definitely learned to, like, okay, take the open world, but we have to really give us a narrative focus here. Where I liked Vice City, but again, it was Scarface.
It was Scarface, yeah.
And then San Andreas was basically Scarface 2 mixed with Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, yeah.
And I'm trying to think what other stories were wrapped into that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I liked 4. 4 was cool.
4 was cool. I would have to go with 5. I think 5 would be a very good live action, especially with the characters of Michael and Trevor. And their relationship. I think that would be very interesting done live action. I wasn't really a big fan of Franklin in that game. I kind of felt like they just wanted another CJ kind of character.
Yes.
I definitely didn't enjoy playing him that much.
He was supposed to be, he was like the bridge between the two, because you had the two like defined, definitive stories, and then his was just kind of there to give a reason to, for Michael to go away for a while, or for Trevor to go away for a while, without shoehorning you in one way. It was like the middle, because he was like the more sane one of the group.
Reasonable,
he was like the reasonable one, because I mean, we always used to play that way. Whenever I wanted to like go on a rampage, I would go to Trevor and then be like,
always,
I'm just gonna go kill everybody.
And I love the story of Michael, that family man who's like out of the mafia business. Like, it's like The Sopranos, actually. That's really pulling from. Damn, yeah, they just pull from things that are already made, I guess. That's what it really comes down to.
Pull it and then put it in a video game, and you can get away with whatever you want, apparently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what I would actually want from it. I don't have any like oh, they got to do this. You do whatever you want. It's Grand Theft Auto.
No, I'll check it out if people say it's good.
If it starts catching heat, I will. But like, I didn't like Power or any of those other 50 Cent shows.
Never saw them.
Kind of.
They have a huge fan base, so.
Yeah.
Gigantic fan base.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that could be. It could be big, especially you get that fan base, the people that like Grand Theft Auto. Could be something there, but who knows? Why not? And then, speaking of something that I'm kind of... So, Guillermo del Toro directing a Frankenstein movie for Netflix. He has like a 8-movie contract with Netflix, something like that.
8-picture deal.
It's a lot of movies. 8-picture deal. He's got... so, they're being eyed, Andrew Garfield and Oscar Isaac. Not guaranteed to be in it.
No, not 100% confirmed, but that's who Guillermo del Toro is eyeing, which I feel like when the director's eyeing somebody for the role, they usually play it. It's not like it's a casting agent or anything like that. So they're probably gonna get cast in it, I would say.
The chances are that they're probably already attached. They just haven't actually signed contracts and stuff. I think Garfield's having like a resurgence to his career. I think he's so like I don't know if it ever really went away, but I feel like the Spider-Man series kind of like it was like his almost like for the UFC when you become the number 1 contender, you go for a title and then you lose, and then you have like you just kind of go away for a while, you drop down the rankings, and then you get this like resurgence. Like he had his moment. He was given the keys to Spider-Man. Those movies didn't do commercially well, and it was kind of like, okay, like you had your chance to become the giant star. Now it didn't work, so kind of go away. But he's coming back. I mean, I
comes back in No Way Home, and he's like has a highlight performance in the movie.
Yeah, he's
as
like
a character who
arguably the
was
best
a failed series.
Yeah, but very great redemption.
In his defense, it's not his fault or the director's fault. That's 100% Sony.
100% Sony.
100% Sony taking, trying to take control. And I mean, how much of those movies were fucking cut out? I mean, they were. I mean,
they looked a mess.
Yeah,
I remember even, and when I watched it, I remember watching it like this is not knowing much at the time about movies. I'm like, this is a mess.
Yeah, the second one is what hit me. I saw the first one. I remember I was so like on edge. I'm like, oh man, they're recasting Spider-Man. Like Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man. This is gonna suck. Then I saw the trailer. I was like, I have to go see it. He's my favorite superhero. Then I saw the movie. I was like, I like that. That was different. And then you go into the second one, and it's like, what a dumpster fire.
Dude,
Holy
it was
I remember the
fucking trailer. It was just all over the place. It was like
it was
like a fucking film that was cut into 80 million fucking pieces, and we're gonna throw this here. This is gonna go here. Fucking just make it fucking rain. Oh, glue it together. We're good.
I think you can go watch the original trailer for the movie, like the original announcement trailer, and it's like the story's not anything like what is perceived in the trailer.
Oh, there's a shit ton of stuff that's in the trailer that's not even in the movie.
In the movie, yeah.
But I watched Under the Banner of Heaven, and
I started watching that with my wife on
Peacock.
FX.
It was good. I really liked it. I really appreciated his acting in it, and that's when I was like, holy shit! Like I forgot he's a really good actor. He's really got some good chops for it.
Yeah, and The Social Network. I really like his performance in The Social Network. I thought he was great.
People forget about that one.
The Social Network is an incredible movie.
Yeah,
that's oh god, it's in my top 100.
I was late to the party.
Is it?
I think it would be in mine too. I really do, because the performances, the story, I think it's absolutely incredible. And that was the first time I really was like, wow, this dude really is a great actor.
That movie's just so incredible because that would never be made again. Imagine if they were going to make a movie with Mark Zuckerberg, and it would never happen. It would never happen. The fact that the whole site, one of the biggest fucking companies in the world of Meta or whatever they're calling it, the Facebook company, started by some heartbroken little college dweeb rating hot pictures of chicks and sexually objectifying them. That's how that site started, and it wasn't even him.
And it wasn't even him who started it.
Man. Yeah. So
never.
I'm surprised.
I can't believe it got made in the first place.
I can't believe it because it came out in that sweet spot where Facebook was huge, but it wasn't like the top, like the third biggest company in the world.
Right.
So, the fact that like the original like reels to those movies or the digital prints haven't been deleted. I bet you that's what he does now. He sits up, he's like, I'm trying to take over the internet so I can delete this movie.
That's his whole goal. That's why he's doing all of this,
goal.
is delete that fucking movie.
Just to show how much of a fucking dick that guy
He's like,
really is.
the terms and agreement is really just to hack into people's stuff, not for their data. I just want to be able to delete the movie from existence from everybody's things. Back on this.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
This seems like Frankenstein. So it's based off the original novel. So it's maybe Frankenstein's monster, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
In which most people tend to forget that Frankenstein is not the actual monster.
No,
Frankenstein
it's the doctor.
Frankenstein is the doctor who creates the monster.
It's one of those like what do they call it? The Mandela effects. Yeah.
Mandela effects.
Like everyone thinks that the monster's name is Frankenstein. I mean, if you Google Frankenstein, it's just all pictures of the monster, but that's not that's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've never been a big Frankenstein dude. Never really sparked my fancy for him, but I think that this could be good. There's a lot of good people attached to it. Also, speaking of like actors, like Oscar Isaac is amazing.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna play Frankenstein. I just did
the
it.
monster.
The monster. I just did it. I think Andrew Garfield will play Frankenstein. I think Oscar Isaac's probably gonna play the monster, and I think that would be perfect. I think he would absolutely nail that role.
He's been good. Like he played a good Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just the makeup.
That movie was.
It was just the makeup in the movie. Yeah, because he didn't look good. But he played the role fantastic.
He plays a good creep. Like even in Deus Ex Machina, he he's so creepy without trying to be. He's just very. It's just stoic. It's those like dead eyes he has. He can. It's. He's good. I don't know.
And Moon Knight,
I enjoy
killed the role of Moon Knight. He does the double roles of the two personalities. I was like, yo.
He plays three people.
He does play three. You don't see the third one much, but the way he's able, it reminds me of Split, of James McAvoy in Split. When I saw him do that in Split, I was like, this is next level acting. There's not many actors who can pull this off.
No.
And then Oscar Isaac comes in Moon Knight and does it, I think, just as good a job as James McAvoy.
Comes in, fucking hold my beer.
He's an incredible. And then Mia Goth. I haven't seen her, but she's blowing up off that movie. I think it's called X. And another movie after X or something. So she's another one that's starting to blow up. So I feel like I got to check out the movies that she's in, because she's another actor like Jenna Ortega who's kind of on the rise right now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've seen her like before, but not in anything like a couple smaller movies and stuff. But
and Guillermo del Toro, man, I'll follow that man to the ends of the earth. Anything he does, I'll give it a shot, because it might be something that I've never seen before. He just tends to do that sometimes.
I'm trying to think of some of the movies that because I'm still kind of bad at this sometimes. What is his?
He did The Shape of Water. He did the first Hellboy. He did that Pinocchio on Netflix, which if you guys haven't seen that, you should check that out.
Oh, the Tom Hanks one?
That was no God. That Tom Hanks one was. I thought the Tom Hanks one was so bad.
Hey, Tom Hanks, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, I love Tom Hanks. But again, even Tom Hanks in that movie, he wasn't that great, which was weird for Tom Hanks. But no, he does like a claymation type Pinocchio on Netflix, and it's a very darker tone. And I definitely think that if you guys haven't seen it, you should give that a watch.
I saw it in my scrolling. I will thank you. I will definitely add another one to the list.
Add it to the list. I think that's great. And he's one of those minds, one of those crazy but brilliant minds that he wants to do Frankenstein. Sure, let's do it.
Bring it on.
Pacific. He did Pacific Rim.
He did
The
Pacific
first
Rim,
Pacific
too.
Rim I actually really liked.
Yes.
I
The
love
second one
Pacific
was
Rim.
awful.
I didn't even see
the
it.
second one was
Nope.
the second one was
Nor
so
did I.
bad. What
I
a-
heard it was bad, and
what
I
a
was like, nah, I don't need it.
You didn't
yeah,
have the same
what
people.
a
Yeah.
bad way for like it's very rare when you see a movie be like good and then the sequel just go completely horribly wrong and ruin it.
Yeah.
Like especially like a movie about giant robots fighting monsters. Like,
Well, they tried to
that's
get
kind
too
of
flashy with it. It was almost like Pacific Rim was filmed kind of like an independent film. It's crazy to say that
Yeah.
with like the CGI
Yeah.
and its big spectacle, but it was almost like this independent, concealed thing. But then with the second
Well,
one,
it's
it
like,
was
you
like,
know
oh,
that
let's do a
those-
franchise and make it
So
bright
the-
colors and
what I'm thinking is like those first ones, you know, they have the budget so tight that they're like, we can't go crazy. We have to really focus on like a good story to go along with this, and then squeeze in the the little bit of CGI and abilities that we have at the time, the effects that we have, and then it's like it gets success in the second one. They're like open checkbook, and they're like, all right, prioritize fucking VFX, and then
Right.
it just the story goes out the window, and that's
Yeah.
basically what it was because. I couldn't even finish the first
And
one.
Guillermo didn't even do the second one.
The second one.
Yeah.
yeah, and there has to be a
Yeah,
reason, like
Yeah.
I'm sure he had a story in his head for where the story could go, and the studio is probably like, nah, like.
Nah, we want lunchboxes.
They always do that
okay.
shit. A director will make this like incredible masterpiece of a first film, and then a studio is like, "Oh, it made so much money. We did that. We know what we're doing. So let's tell you
Yeah.
what you need to do." They always do that.
do it
shit.
again, but bigger and more more flashy. And you're like, well, that's not what the story was.
No.
But that's what the story is now, and that's usually what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's always the case too. That's why everything, the sequels are all. It's hard to get a sequel that's as good as the first one because usually people put their blood and sweat and tears into the first one to try and get it to be made.
Yeah.
Then it's made and they go, okay, well, I didn't really plan on making more of these, but I can do that if you want.
Yeah. Very rare.
Yep. Very,
But yeah,
very rare.
if anybody's got anything else, I think that's all we got.
No, I think that's all I got. About
Yeah.
time to move into
take us
the
home.
Drink of the Week. Happy
Drink
St.
of the
Patrick's
week.
Day, everybody, by the way. That's
Yeah,
why
we
we're
didn't
wearing the
address-
hats. We never
we
addressed
never,
it.
we never addressed that at all.
We're just here like the hats, yeah. Happy St. Patrick's
Oh, that's
Day.
great.
Hopefully this episode drops on St. Patrick's Day. I should be able to get it out in time. But yeah, Drink of the Week. Toke, what do you got for us?
All right. All right. So, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, figured, we're going to go a little Irish here. So, we're going to go with, well, I guess we're called what it's been called forever. I'm not going to go politically
You call it a
correct.
car bomb?
It's an Irish car bomb.
Yeah, I knew it.
So, I mean,
I don't think I've
it's-
ever had one of those.
Dude, and I'm going to show you the correct way to open and pour a fucking Guinness. So,
All right.
you ever get the Guinness draft cans? There's a little thing inside called a widget. You can hear it tingling around. You open it quick, and you instantly pour, and you pour it hard. Like, literally just straight up and down and let it pour. Because it's nitrous, it does its thing, it's already activated, and now you want that cascade effect. You do it, and you literally just fucking pour. Get that nice foam, and it'll cascade
Sure.
beautifully.
I can't wait to drink so many of those tomorrow.
Look at that beautiful cascade action there.
Yeah.
That is a beaut.
So, while that's preparing itself there, I have literally one shot of Jameson left. I actually have Jameson in the decanter here. Double shot glass. Look at that sweet art. That's my buddy from Ohio made that. That's a little just a sticker that I put on a shot glass.
That's dope.
Literally one shot.
There you go.
Perfect. And everyone knows, usually use Bailey's. No, we're going to go Ryan's Irish Cream. Cheaper, and I think it's actually tastes better than Bailey's. Same stuff. So instead of a single shot, half and half, do a double shot, 1 and 1. And you know what to do from here. You sink it and you fucking drink it, boys.
Sink it and drink it.
Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Delicious.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Hey.
Cheers for that.
Hell yeah.
So from me to you, everybody else, have a great St. Patrick's Day. Be safe. Have fun.
Absolutely.
We fucking love you all.
Yeah. From all of us here at Personified Fandom, we will be back next week. Next week, we should get back on the movie of the week train.
Yes.
Have one of those in
Yes.
quite a few weeks.
Yeah, I got a couple ideas I'll throw in the group chat.
Now that one of our segments is gone, thanks to Last of Us. Couldn't go to 10 episodes.
Yeah.
True.
All right, guys. Yeah, I think that's it. We will catch you all next week. That was a bad outro.
It's all good. I come in out of nowhere like, hey, look at you. You made it to the end of the video. Oh, hey, look at you. You made it to the end of the video. Well, if you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. Should be over here, I hope. Also check out some of the other videos we have on the channel right over here. Do it. Click the video. Click the video. Dude.